Hey, what is shaking, homies? So today I am really excited because I get to eat. Check this out. I got a ribeye and a T-bone, and we are going to do a fake dry aged. So we're going to do this using Koji rice. So Koji rice, it's basically like a molded rice. It's normally used to make sake. It's a fermenting agent. And supposedly, if we just grind this up, we rub it on the steaks, we put it in the fridge away where it can still get like airflow to it. In 2 to 3 days, we will have steaks that taste like dry aged steaks. Dry aged steaks at a restaurant is like, it could be like, a steak like this would be like $100. And I got this for $9 at the local butcher. So, and this was $10, and this is enough to do a whole bunch of steaks. What I don't use, I can just put in a Tupperware and use it for next time. But yeah, really excited about this. This looks pretty simple and pretty straightforward, and if I do this right, this will definitely score me some points with my girlfriend. And follow along, let's do it. Okay guys, here is what we are working with. I got this T-bone here, this ribeye. I'm going to use this little food processor to just chop it up finer. But here, let's take a closer look. Here is what it is. This big bag, I'm only using a little, so I can throw this in a Tupperware. This could do a bunch more, but this whole thing only cost me like $10 or something. Everything's in Japanese, so I cannot read anything on it. But check this out, guys. It is like just take a look at this. It is like straight up just looks like mold. Like everything's got like hair on it. Like, take a look at this. Isn't that weird looking? So crazy. Yeah. But yeah, once again, link will be down below if you want to pick this up. But yeah, I'm going to use this little food processor thingamajigger here that connects to my guy right here. And let's just give it a quick. I love this thing. That's probably good. One more for good luck. There we go. Okay, so take that off. Okay, now that I have it more of like a powder, it's still, you know, it's still like grains, but now it's a little more, you know, manageable. Okay, so literally I'm just gonna put these on the steaks on both sides, and then we'll get a pan and I'll show you the next step. I'm just gonna just put it on like it's a rub or anything else. I might actually have to grind up more, but we'll see. That's what I figured. I could always grind more if I needed to. Really rubbing it in there. Okay, really. And that's really it. You're going to want to put it on pretty heavy. I mean, it doesn't have to be like completely all the grains on, because you get a lot of powder from grinding it up too. So basically everything's covered in the powder. But as you can see, I'm going to have to grind up a little more. So I'm going to grind up some more, do the same thing to the other side, and we'll be right back. Okay gang, now all I did really simple is I got a baking sheet, and then you're going to need some way to elevate it. You know, you don't want it to be right against the pan, because then no airflow will get to the bottom, which will mess up the fermentation process, and it'll oxidize the meat, and it just won't work out right. So what I did was I just went to the dollar store right around the street, and they got these drink stirrers, 40 for $1. But you could use chopsticks, you could use anything like that. Yeah, you might even just be able to use like some silverware or something. But you want something to lift it up a little bit. So get something like this and just kind of lay some down, so that way it's just elevated in there. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in my fridge for 2 days. After 1 day though, I'm going to take them out and flip them. That way anywhere that's touching these drink stirrers or anything, and then once I flip it, those areas will have a chance to get, you know, all get fermentized and oxidized and all that good stuff. So that's really all there is to it. So I guess I'll see you guys in 2 days. We'll scrape all this stuff off. Next thing you know, we'll be firing up the grill, eating these suckers, drinking some beers, and having a good old time. Okay gang, I am very excited because it has been 48 hours and these actually look great, and just from touching it, like it's more tender, like the meat just became way more tender, even just to the touch, like before I cook it or anything. Also notice it got a lot redder and it got kind of dark in some spots. But that's all totally normal, like it's supposed to do that. So don't, if you do this at home, do not be discouraged. But yeah, I think it looks actually amazing. It came out really good. It definitely has a funky smell to it, which is totally normal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the back of a butter knife here, and I'm going to just scrape off all this Koji. And then once I get it all scraped off, I'm going to really just lightly rinse it with very cold water. You don't need to scrub it or anything, but you do want to rinse it off a little, because a lot of this becomes like a paste. And notice how it's actually, the meat is so tender from this that it's actually, like, if I'm too rough with it, this is why I'm using the back of this. And even by using the back, you have to be careful, because I actually just took up a little bit of the meat. So yeah, I can already tell you that this did something. Like, it definitely did something. So I'm gonna just scrape the rest of the Koji off here, and then I'll be back and we'll rinse them off. Alright, so I got as much off as I could without damaging the meat with the back of my knife. So I'm gonna make sure my sink is nice and cold water, and I'm just gonna lightly rinse it off. Just any of the rice that I didn't get off, and anywhere it's really starchy. Now this one side of this T-bone got really dark. I think this side just was, you know, getting more oxygen than the other side, so it got a little oxidized. But I watched a couple other people's videos, and this is totally normal. This usually happens, a lot of times this happens to both sides. So if yours gets like this, don't get discouraged. It's actually, to me, it looks like it aged it more, but like in a good way. So don't freak out if that's the case. But yeah, you don't need to get every little bit off, because you're gonna give it a hard sear anyways. But you just want like the real thick, starchy stuff to come off. Okay, so I'm gonna put this, I got a paper towel over here. I'm just gonna let that dry off. I'm gonna put paper towels on top of it. Just let it get really dry before I season them up, and then I'm gonna let them get to room temperature also before I cook them. So after I rinse them off here, get them rinsed off really good. I'm gonna make sure they're really dry. Then I'm gonna let them sit out, just like sit out at room temperature for about an hour before we sear these babies up and cook them. Now, unfortunately, right now it's the end of January and it is negative 12 degrees outside, so I can't grill these. So I'm gonna have to cook these inside in a pan, but that's okay. I know how to do that also, and it's not the end of the world. These steaks, they're probably gonna turn out good no matter what. But I'm pretty good at cooking them in a pan too as well. So okay, so we got both these babies cleaned up good enough. Like I said, don't have to be perfect. So we're gonna let them just dry out over here. I'm gonna pat them dry with some more paper towels, and then we'll get to seasoning them and searing them up. But so far I'm very excited. The smell coming off these is actually amazing, and it definitely, like this is so freaking tender. I can't even explain it. Not except the fat. The fat actually got harder. Like, the fat here is rock hard, like rock hard. But the meat is crazy tender on both these. This fillet, oh my god, this is gonna be awesome. Okay, now I'm gonna keep the seasoning really simple with just pink Himalayan sea salt and pepper. I normally would put garlic, but because it's my first time having the Koji rice, I want to be able to just naturally taste the Koji rice. You know, I'm just going to keep it really simple. Maybe next time I make this, I'll try putting garlic. Also, I want to try putting garlic in with the Koji rice when I put it in the fridge for the 2 days, and see if that, like, the garlic will seep into the flavor too, if that's better. But yeah. So yeah, so I'm just going to season these up. I'm going to flip them over, do the same to the other side. We're going to get a couple pans really hot, and we'll be right back on the stove. Okay, so the method I'm going to use for cooking these, because I cannot grill these just because of the weather and everything, I'm going to use 2 pans. I'm going to use 1 pan for each steak. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get these ripping hot. Like, I'm going to have them all the way so they start to smoke a little. I'm not going to put any oil in or anything. And then I'm going to use the fat from the steak. So I'm going to sear the sides of the steak first to get that fat in the pan. and then I'm gonna like do a quick sear, maybe like 60 to 90 seconds on each side on really hot heat. I have this infrared thermometer, as you can see right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait till it gets to at least 500 degrees. 500 degrees is where you get a really good sear, but if you don't have something like this, all you gotta do is wait till it gets to like a smoking point, and then wait like another 30 seconds, like till right after it starts to smoke. Give it another 30 seconds, and you should be good. But that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a time lapse of this because it'll take a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna sear them all, and then I'm gonna put them on just a baking sheet. I'm gonna put them under a broiler in the oven for 3 minutes, and that should give them a nice medium rare. And we'll go from there. So I'll start the time lapse, and wish me luck. Okay, I have them perfectly seared. So now I just want to finish them a little more. They're kind of just seared now. They're still pretty rare. So I'm just gonna put them in the oven under a broiler for about 3 minutes. Then I'm gonna let them rest for 5 minutes, and we'll be ready to try them out. But I am extremely excited. They do crust very easy, and they smoke a lot. So know that going into it. You'll have that going into it. That it's gonna make a lot of smoke. Okay, so they're done to perfection. So I'm gonna let them rest for 5 minutes. We'll cut them up, and then me and the missus will try them out. Okay, so they've rested a little bit here, so I'm gonna cut them up here. First, I'm just gonna cut this New York away from the bone. Yeah, this New York off the T-bone, and I'll cut the fillet off. Oh man, that fillet feels so tender. Oh, look at that. I thought I might have overcooked this, but I think I did it perfectly. Look at that color. Oh, I did it perfect. Oh, thank you. Oh yeah. Yee! All right. Okay, so just come on. There we go. Okay. Little sneak peek. Oh. Oh my God. Just, oh my God. I can't wait. I can't wait to try this ribeye. This ribeye, look at this. This is just incredible. Somewhere. Okay. Let's cut these up. Okay, so I got a New York, a filet mignon, and a ribeye. And the ribeye is kind of 2 parts here. They got this outer. This is the more tender, and this is the more like thicker steak. They're both good. Usually you eat them kind of together. So, okay, which way? I'm gonna cut these against the grain, and yeah, so the grain is going this way. So I'm gonna cut it. Yeah, this way. Oh my God, if you guys could only smell this right now. It definitely like has a different smell than if it was just a normal steak. There's just something more to it. I don't know how to explain it. This ribeye is just like falling apart. Oh my God. Alright, enough of this. I gotta sit down and try this out with the missus. So yeah, let me go over there. I also made some sweet potato fries. But the steak is definitely going to be the star of the show here. So yeah, let's get this while it's still hot. We'll go over there. I'll bring the camera with me, and let's try this out. Okay, guys, we've been waiting over 2 days for this. This is my beautiful girlfriend, Diana. She normally doesn't like being on camera, but she's going to do it just for us. Here you go, my dear. Okay, so what do you want to try first? The filet mignon, the ribeye, or the New York?
Filet.
Okay, go for it. Sorry, I didn't cut it the best. Very tender. Very, like, buttery. But it definitely tastes different, right? The Koji rice did something. It does have, like, it's almost like nutty. Right here, it does have a nut.
Yeah.
Just keep eating it. You don't gotta stop. Crazy tender, though. Like, it made it stupid tender. But yeah, it's almost like a buttery, nutty taste. I didn't put any butter on this. I cooked it just in the pan. I didn't even put any oil. The only oil I used was its own fat. Very good. What do you try next? The ribeye? Okay. So the ribeye's got a couple different parts. This is probably the part you'd like the best right here. So I'm going to try a piece from this section too of the ribeye. Right. I taste the umami type flavor more in the ribeye. I don't know if that's because it's a more tender cut of meat in general. Well, filet mignon's pretty tender too, but it wasn't that big of a cut. But it really, really got into this one a lot. Maybe also this is a fattier cut of meat, so maybe the fat like cooked in there. But this is delicious. This is okay. Now this part of the ribeye is a little tougher. It's a little kind of similar, more similar to like the New York. These are very big pieces, though. There you go. Try that. Tell me what you think of that piece. If we got in, there's not much fat in that one. Is it just as much in that one?
That's my favorite so far.
This part of the ribeye? Okay, yeah. I normally like the fattier pieces, and Diana normally likes the leaner pieces, so that kind of makes sense. Well, this is all you then, and I'll eat all this really fatty stuff. But lastly, let's try the New York. So New York's more like a steak. You know, it's firmer in general normally. This one tastes the most beefy out of all of them. Not quite as tender, but it has the most beef flavor out of all of them. But in all of these, I feel like the Koji rice definitely made it better. Like, it was worth doing. So the Koji rice took us 2 days to do it, and it cost me like $10 to $12, I can't remember how much it was, for that bag of it. And there's enough to do another batch of this, but I think it was 100% worth it. Are you happy with it?
I'm happy.
Okay, so she's happy, I'm happy. I hope you guys liked the video. I had a lot of fun making it, but I'm having even more fun eating it. So I'm going to let you guys go because we got some fights on, so we're going to move this over there, watch some fights, eat some steak. I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know in the comments if you did, if you didn't. Either way, cheers. I'll see you guys later, and let's eat.